So these are really fundamental principles that all work around the alignment of the body, keeping the correct alignment of the body. So in the practice of the movements, we're always working on correct alignment. The interesting thing in terms of alignment is the strongest alignment in the body is also the healthiest. So sitting in Tai Chi is something that happens in every single movement in the set, and it's also really specifically practiced in the danyus. So sitting is just as though you're sitting into a chair. There's flexion at the hips, there's a dropping and opening in the low back, sacrum, and pelvis. This has amazing benefits in terms of mobility through the hips and the hip joints, mobility through the low back and the pelvis. Low back pain is one of the biggest problems coming into doctors' offices anywhere. Big business for big pharma. So this sitting works directly on the lower back, opening it up, stretching it, strengthening it, strengthening the support structure in the legs. Huge benefit there. Also, the up and down motion in the sitting really helps with the circulation. So it's like this big pump starts to pump the circulation through the body. So just taken on its own for a second, the turning motion in the exercise is turning the body open to 45 degrees as we go back, turning the body forward, facing forward as we go forward in the movement. You'll see a very continuous gentle motion going backwards and forward, shifting the weight from one foot to the other. In that backwards and forward shifting of the weight, there's a turning motion of the body. Open to 45, turn back to the front. One of the things you hear a lot is squaring the hips. So as the body turns forward, the hips end up being square. This is a really unique movement in terms of how it works those joints in the hips. So stretching is basically taking tissues beyond where their normal range of motion into a new range of motion. So we're taking tissues like muscles, tendons, ligaments, joints, capsules, through their full range of motion and then stretching them into a new range of motion. So the movement, the way the sitting and turning is done, it's done very slowly. So it takes it's very safe that way. So it takes the body through its full range of motion and then allows that stretch to occur as it's doing that. One of the things about the development is everyone's got different levels of flexibility relative to one another, and then different parts of their body might have different flexibility as well. So someone might be really, really tight in the low back and flexible in the legs, for example. Well, the stretch goes right through all those tissues, and it really connects into where the tight parts of the body are. So it works very deep, very fast in terms of penetrating the body and starting to develop that opening and stretching that we get through the movement. So one of the ways to think about it is we're training the structure, right? We're developing the structure. We're developing flexibility, we're developing strength, we're developing patterns of movement that we might not have done before. And then with repetition, and that's how we learn is through repetition, we're training the nervous system. So a couple of elements of the nervous system that we're training are, one is focus. So it takes a lot of focus to learn the movements. It takes a lot of practice and focus to learn the development in the movements. So we're learning, the central nervous system is given that element of practice and focus. And then the rest of the nervous system, the peripheral nervous system, is also stretched and worked as well, especially through the spine and the spinal column. And then the enteric nervous system, which is now called the second brain, is also worked. So that's the gut, basically. So one of the things that happens as we do a lot of stretching, a lot of really hard work, a lot of kung fu in the movement, that deep stretching, is after we gain that strength and flexibility, we're actually able to relax in the movement. So one of the areas that relaxation takes place is in the stomach and the gut. With the turning, with the stretching, there's a really deep movement and massage of the internal organs as we're practicing. and a deep relaxation in that part of the nervous system. So the health of the internal organs through that movement and through that relaxation is really improved as well. Another part of that is through the circulation. So in the Danyus, the up and down movement, the real strong work through the legs is this huge pumping action, activating the circulation through the body. So one of the really unique aspects of Tai Chi as an exercise is how slowly it's done. So in doing the movement slowly has a number of really huge benefits with it. One is it's very safe. So the structures never push beyond what is a safe position for the body to be in. Stress is a huge topic these days, right? We live in a stressful environment. We have stressful living situations, stress. So Tai Chi is uniquely positioned to help with the effects of stress. What happens when we get stressed? Our body goes into a state of tension automatically. It's called defense. So this builds in layers of tension into the system. So as we're working through the different layers of tissue in the body, through the muscles, ligaments, tendons, joints, capsules, and those are all starting to stretch and open up. We're also working through layers of how those are being held in a tense position. So there may be emotional factors connected to that tension. There may be psychological factors connected to that tension. The fact that we stretch the structure enough and learn how to relax in the exercise really starts to release some of these layers of tension through the body. So we can start to, and doing it slowly and being aware as we're doing it, we can start to make connections between these different things of how we're doing it in the moment as we're holding it. One of my favorite questions that I'm asked when people ask me about Tai Chi is it really exercise? Because it looks so simple. And as you're watching Doug do the set, he's been doing it for something like 40 years, it looks very easy as he's doing it. And you have to bear in mind that he's been practicing it rather intensely over this time, and his body's developed these principles that we've been talking about. So he's combining the sitting, turning, stretching, and relaxing all at the same time. So we can break it down, and you can look at those elements as he's going through the sit. You can see as he opens to the back and sits at the back, you can see the sitting motion. You see as he goes forward, there's a turning motion as he goes forward. The whole set looks relaxed. It's not like he gets to a certain point and then relaxes. That relaxing's inherent in the whole movement of the set. So all these elements are being woven together and practiced at the same time. We break them down for the sake of understanding them, and we break them down when we're practicing the foundation exercises like the Danyus and the Toyus. The Danyus really work specifically on the sitting motion in the exercise. The Toyus work mostly on the turning exercise. There's elements of the sitting, of course, in the exercise as well. And a great deal of stretching can be accomplished as we're working on the Toyu exercise as well. The beginner stage is a lot of focus because we're working on gaining the understanding of the sequence, where the parts go. One of the things that surprises people from the very first class is how much they feel in their body as they're doing this. The stretching starts to occur right away because we're putting the body into positions that naturally stretches the body, but also takes it into positions that they haven't been in before. So we don't expect all of these elements to occur for quite a while. There really is a process development. One of the things I love about Tai Chi is these principles, you can continue to work on them. You know, I've been doing it for 40 years. I'm still working on them, still learning, still gaining new understanding of them, which I think really helps with the relaxation, the meditative aspects, the focus, the enjoyment that you get out of the exercise. One of the things about exercise, if it's not fun, you're not going to do it. If it's not interesting, you're not going to, if you don't get something out of it. So one of the things I hear all the time is people will start some form of exercise, they'll do it for a couple of months, and then it gets kind of boring. With the Tai Chi, development is constant. It's really never ending. So if you're that way inclined that you want to keep learning, then this is ideal because there's always something to challenge you. Right from the very beginning, as a beginner student where you're trying to figure out where to put your feet relative to one another, what's the stance, what's the position, where do my arms and legs go, all that sort of thing. And we're still working on that. People are always interested that we can teach the entire 108 movement set to someone who's limited to a wheelchair. So all the principles that we talk about just in general in Tai Chi can be applied to someone who's sitting down. We call it a sitting set. So the turning, that internal relaxation with the sit, the stretching as we go forward, the coordination between the limbs, all these things can be adapted. The mental focus, of course, is a constant as well. The stretching that occurs is a very dynamic stretch. And when you combine it with the sitting, the positioning that your body, especially the pelvis, lumbar spine goes into in the sit of the movement, it's really a unique position, physiological function in the body. So someone who's really well-conditioned and in really good shape is also going to benefit from this because they're going to be moving the structure in ways that they haven't moved before. It doesn't matter what type of exercise. I remember when I was fairly early on, I worked for several months of the year tree planting. And we'd run up and down mountainsides planting trees, and I'd come down just in incredible shape at the end of the tree planting season. And then when I go back to the Tai Chi, and I just do a few danyus, and my legs, after 10 danyus, my legs were just like wobbly. So it really is unique in that sense. You have to experience it. And you have to experience some of the development that comes with practicing it. So nothing's a quick fix, and Tai Chi certainly fits into that. You can derive benefits immediately as soon as you start moving and doing the practice. But the real benefits, the real payoff comes with practice. Over time, with repetition, it really starts to sink into the structure of the body, sink into the training of the nervous system to relax and respond differently. Anyone can benefit from that. One of the things we talk a lot about in practicing Tai Chi is the balance that's developed as you work through the exercise. So we can think of that just in a literal sense, keeping your balance. Falls is one of the #1 reasons for hospital admissions in the elderly, and can often have devastating consequences. So balance is a really critical thing as we age. Most people think of balance simply as my inner ear, the vestibular system. But a lot of where we get our balance from is actually from feedback from the body, specifically around the joints and ligaments and tendons around the joints. So as we're moving those joints through the range of motion, those joint proprioceptors, they're called, that's what gives us feedback about where we are in space, are constantly being exercised as well. So a lot of the balance comes through the movement, right? It comes through moving our body through space. And if we move our body in a greater range of motion through space and develop strength at the same time, that greatly improves our balance. And then we can talk about balance in terms of the body and the body's function, in terms of nervous system balance, for example. In terms of stress, most of us have an imbalance in what's called our autonomic nervous system. Far too much emphasis on the sympathetic versus the parasympathetic side. So think of the sympathetic nervous system when you're drinking coffee, right? We're ready for action, we're up and at 'em, we're ready to go. And it's like we're turned on all the time. The parasympathetic nervous system is the restorative side of things, the healing side. It's activated when we're sleeping, resting, or meditating. And those two parts of the autonomic nervous system are often out of balance and out of control. So through the practice of Tai Chi, learning how to relax, stretch, focus, it helps bring some of the parasympathetic back into balance. So there's a real healing element to the exercise through that balance that starts to be restored in the system.